Welcome back, Pred people. We got one more game for the night, and it's gonna be a barn burner. Sin coming up against Rogue. Philly, you know we've saved the best for last. It's Spooky, and of course Philly here to take you through things. But before we get into everything, Philly, how are we doing? I'm so excited.
You don't know how long I've been waiting for this, friend. I mean, we have been here for over 12 hours casting Predecessor, working with the community, doing all sorts of things to bring you the very best that Predecessor has to offer. So I couldn't be more ecstatic to go over this winner bracket game here as our finale for the night.
But before we can get into games and drafts, we got a coin flip. So we're going to send things to none other than Choice Plays alongside Import and Wangle to see how this one goes.
I am here with the coin toss. We were just talking a little bit about what's been going on here today, but I have got Wangle from Team Rogue and I've got Import from Sin. We are going to be doing our coin toss here in just a second. Team Rogue has picked Tails, so I'm going to flip this coin, and whatever side it lands on, that team will be able to pick which side they are going to be on in the draft. So let's get this started. And it is Tails. Tails? Tails? All right, what side are you going to be picking, Wingle?
I believe we're doing first.
All right, Team Rogue is going to be picking first. Thank you, boys. I appreciate you. And back to HD, Philly B, and Spooky Mars.
I'm shocked. This is your most likable captain?
Ooh.
That was dirty, Philly.
A little bit devious there from Wangle, but we can expect nothing less here, as this is kind of the litmus test here for the side of Rogue. They've only played one game, and that was against Hive, who were the first to be eliminated. Great friends over there in that squad, but this is going to be really, when push comes to shove, are they going to show their mettle, be one of the top teams in the scene?
They're going to have to if they want to stay in this. Remember, the loser of this game, not out, just gets knocked down to that lower bracket. We've seen plenty of lower bracket runs before, but both teams want to stay out of that, Philly. And Sin so far has been making quite the run. This is a team that has kind of been middle of the pack in a lot of past tournaments. Has always had a lot of potential. We've talked about them a lot. But now, they seem locked in, coming in huge, and they've been putting up results.
Absolutely, and just, you know, back in the PCC Summer Series for the EU side, Sin was the third place team in that tournament.
Yeah.
So they're really having something to prove here today, and from all the rumors, all the players I've talked to and captains and things like that, they've said Sin have been locked since day one. They've been here for a while now, competing every day, scrimming, getting used to the time change, and they are here to play. They started out with a pretty rough matchup against Mach 10. We had all those LAN issues, but they worked through that. Even though they were handily winning that game number one, they bounced back after losing the restart, winning 2 right after that, and they've just been crushing kids since then.
And frankly, it takes a lot of mental composure to come back from a situation like that, right?
Yeah.
It's a LAN. You know, you expect some things to happen there, but being on the cusp of victory, restarting and then saying, no big deal. We're Sin. We've got this. We are here to play. We're here to win. That's what truly pushes the teams to that next level, and that's the kind of team that Rogue is now going against. And this has historically been a very strong mental team. Can they keep that up?
That's a really good question. I was interviewing Blue Jay, who is the coach and also basically the tournament organizer. He's been keeping all of us on check, especially us who need to be kept on a leash from time to time. But he was letting me know that it's Haru. He is the ADC. He is going to be the one that sets the tempo for his team. He's the one that is shot calling. If they can win their duo lane, him and Wangle, they have a really good shot in this one. Wangle, he's going to be setting up their plays, right? He's going to be on the Decker, the Morn, those kind of characters that really want to initiate and allow the other team to then follow suit. But in order to be good at that, you have to have your mental lock and your focus sharp. If he gets tilted or, you know, tired in any way, the team might crumble after that. So look for that duo lane in terms of how Rogue is going to want to play this match.
A lot of pressure on that dual lane, and frankly, as we get later into the day here, there's a lot of pressure that adds on top of that, right? You've been seeing all these teams play. You've been collecting information. You're not sitting idly by. You've been looking at the drafts. How is everyone playing? What are they looking for? The wariness can set in, right? That's a lot to keep track of mentally, and you were talking about it. You gotta stay locked in. You have to make sure you don't lose anything. That edge has to be razor sharp, and they've got to maintain it constantly.
Absolutely. So not only are you scrimming to stay warm, you're also doing VOD reviews. You're analyzing the data, right? You're saying, what are teams playing against? Who's being banned the most? How do we counter? How do we fit the current meta, the current hero pool that is strong right now to our style of play? Speaking of styles of play, we have an EU versus NA team, and we've seen so far how the NA, they're very scrappy. They want to engage early, fight often. The EU team's very patient, very disciplined. They want to control space, poke you out from range, and then go for objectives. And you and I were talking right before getting on the cast about how the poke compositions are going to be really tried and true here in the LAN today.
Exactly. Now, before we get into the exact composition we're going to see from these teams, I want to talk to you a little bit about what you've been seeing from SIN, because obviously it's a different style than NA. We're just talking about that. So, looking at Rogue and looking at SIN, what are the big differences that you personally see that you're looking for to come up in this match?
Absolutely. It's the Gadget for me. We've been seeing Gadget played a lot here at the LAN. She got a couple of buffs, and a lot of the casters have already talked about that, so I don't want to hit on that and belabor that point. Yeah, 2 Gadget buffs. However, Shin, who is the mid laner there for SIN, is famous for their Gadget play. And so we talked about that style, that discipline that EU teams have by poking out compositions, and that's what Gadget does the best. She wants to poke you from afar, just hit spells, get ability haste, right? And then when you feel like you want to engage, boom, Tesla Dome, you get eliminated, you get zapped, and then you roll right onto the objective. So keep that pace for the side of the EU, but Import, he's going to always want to set the tempo. He plays aggressive. He plays through the off lane as well. So look for them to try to draft those 2 positions in tandem so they can facilitate each other.
Exactly. Well, we're now getting into the draft, so we'll see what these teams are prioritizing. We've seen a lot of focus on a few different picks come through here today. We've seen a lot of Countess getting banned, a lot of focus on that Rampage, who tends to sneak through a little bit more than he's banned, it feels like. We've been seeing some good results from both when they get picked. What are you looking for here as the Feng Mao and the Countess both go out?
Absolutely, and I have to shout out D-Dog, who's our statistician. Not only is he observing, but in between games he's observing. He's on his computer collecting stats from each and every game. So now that we are at the final contest of the first day of the LAN, we have a multitude of matches that have compiled to bring us a great data set. And what has really stood out here is the fact that Rampage has been the most picked at 25 times. That's because he's so versatile. He can play support, he can play in the jungle, he can play in the offlane. If you get him in that first phase, you never know what's going to come next. Speaking of what you never know, the bans, they're about the same here all across the board.
I do like to point out this Kwang ban. He has been the most consistent winning hero today so far. It's about, 6 wins to his name. Not the most picked, but certainly performing very well. Now with both these teams finished off with their first round of bans, got our first pick, Yurei. It's actually not the one I would have expected here. Talk to me here, Sin.
Dude, I was doing a little bit of research on Rogue right before this match, and Warps is notorious for this character. He's like, I've only really played her over the last couple of matches or so. I'm kind of locked in terms of her kit. Will get me this early. We're seeing the Grux here on the other side, my friend. As we were viewing the stats from D-Dog, he has not had a good showing here at LAN thus far.
No, I'm not going to claim that stats are everything, right?
No.
But when you can take a look at the stats, you see the most losingest hero in the tournament so far, and you see that, well, it might just be this Grux up here. You better have something in your back pocket. Now, obviously, we've seen a lot coming out from Sin so far today. We've seen a lot of talent, and I do think actually Sin has been putting up some of those wins for Grux. So I don't hate the pick. Shinbi, also one we haven't seen a few times today. How do you feel that plays into this Grux?
Ooh, that's very tough. Her range of engagement is so much farther than Grux because she has line tempo, right? She can just poke him out of lane. He can't really engage because he wants to get on top of you. With the Grux, M, who is the offlaner for the Sin.
Ever since we hired Dale Jr. at IHOP, breakfast has been moving fast.
Look, it's pancakes!
Dine-in delivery catering.
Will you sign my pancakes?
Sin, that is one of his most infamous characters. So they're going to lock him in early to make him feel comfortable here in game number 1. Rogue, they know that. They know that's what they're going to do. They're trying to counter it with the Shinbi, make him really uncomfortable in lane, really try to keep him in the off lane so he can't rotate and facilitate, well, like how we know the Grux can do. We're seeing some of the other things come through. The Wukong, he's making me a little bit scary here, friend.
Yeah, there's a lot of engagement, a lot of mobility coming out from this Wukong here, and honestly, it's a lot of flexibility as well.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
So far, we look at this and we think Sin hasn't revealed any of their backline just yet.
No?
If you are a ranked demon, you may have seen a few Wukong mids in your time, but it's not just in the ranked games. We've seen that in PCCs as well.
Sure.
For your money, how valuable do you think that is versus the general style of the jungle Wukong versus mid?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I was talking to Appy, one of the most infamous players in terms of the Wukong mid. He said, bro, you can't play that anymore. That thing is broken. They've nerfed him to a bit, like he's tried every single composition, cannot be done. However, in the jungle can facilitate fantastically. We can see Kante from the side of Team Immune play Wukong to the utmost perfection.
Yes.
So maybe they try to imitate that there, go for the jungle, put the Grux into the offlane, more in support here. I'm seeing the Morgish to kind of round us out in the mid. Ugh, that's kind of disgusting. Nobody loves to see Morgish, but this is crazy. At the top tier of play, we're seeing the Witch Doctor basically come to fruition. On the other side, much more standard composition from what I'm seeing here from Rogue.
Now, you were talking a little bit about the poke meta that's been developing, and we see some of that in Sin's draft over here, right? You see the Wraith coming in very long range, can really start whittling you down, and honestly, there might be some synergy there with the Morgesh.
Yeah.
If you can whittle those health bars down enough, the ultimate, the curse, maybe a little bit easier to get off there. But what do you think about Rogue's draft here playing into that? Feels a little bit more committal.
So I've seen this draft from Rogue before because I was looking at their previous scrim data, what they played against Hive, and they played pretty much basically this, right?
Right.
The big thing here is they got the double Black Hole, basically. They got Black Hole from Gideon, and then they have the Soulstorm there from Ure, so they basically could just sweep everybody up, put them right into a skewer from Richter, and then an atomizer will just blow everybody up, right?
Yeah.
The thing that Shinbi's going to do in these team fights is kind of section off the Wukong or the Grux, kind of just keep them on the outskirts of the fight, make sure that they cannot engage by keeping their health bar low. So look for the Shinbi to do that if she does make her way into those engagements. Otherwise, she'll stick in the off lane where we know that's where Shinbi belongs.
Daring to assume that the Shinbi rotates out of the off lane and actually shows up to a team fight. That said, the same can be said for this Grux up here. We've seen a lot of games so far where this Grux will just sit off in the lane, shove it up, and say, you know what? The rest of my team, you guys will just go and take the fight. Please win it because I ain't leaving. And it almost feels like a match made in heaven, right? Both of these characters gonna be in that off lane, and it makes those 4v4s, well, 4v4s, an even fight.
Right, absolutely. Yeah, this is actually very, now that I'm like looking at it a little bit more, one thing we didn't point out with across the bands here, friend, is the Gadget making it to the phase 2 part of the band.
Right
Normally
there.
she's taken quite early, but Rogue didn't really want to take her, right? They wanted to go for Gideon, you know, things of that nature. Choice, our producers, letting us know that, hey, maybe we got to get this show on the road. It's like 11 o'clock here in Kansas City, but Spooky and I are ready to bring you all the action. What I love still, I just want to make some final points here. I'm sorry, my friend. You know, I could talk for days about this kind of stuff. I got my pen in hand, so you know I'm feeling a little nasty.
It's been writing.
It has been. You can see my chicken scratch notes right down here. The Grux could be played in support here. You could put Born in the offlane. You put that against the Shinbi. A little bit more durable. He can build some more of those magic defensive items, which helps him a little bit, like sustain a little bit more in lane. However, his lane clear is not as good as the Grux, where Shinbi can out shove him there. So very contentious in terms of how these teams want to actually put the players on the board.
Well, before we can bring you into a game, we got to bring you into an interview first. Before we do that, Philly, I want you to bring it in. That's
Yeah.
right, that's right.
It's been too long, buddy.
What's up, predecessors? Late night Lance Cecil in here, and I've got a big, special friend of mine on the broadcast with me. Tell everybody who you are.
I'm Denim David.
And Denim, what have you been doing here at the Gazoo LAN Invitational?
I've been taking pictures.
Okay, and what gives you like the qualifications to be taking these pictures? Is it just like a hobby of yours?
Yeah, it's really just a hobby.
It's just something that you do, okay. How many pictures do you think you've taken so far?
I'm willing to bet I'm around 800 to 1,000 already.
Okay, so here's the real question. When you get home,
Uh-huh.
are you spending that time editing those photos?
So I have my select one, so I've got a lot of good shots of everybody that is playing, so all the main stage player shots, and of course the staff. So I'm going to edit those ones, but the rest of them I'm just going to photo dump.
You're just going to photo. Okay, so where are you photo dumping these?
So I'm going to put them into a Google Drive, and then you'll be able to find them all on the Gazoo LAN Discord page.
Perfect. Do we have a link to the Gazoo in like a Twitch chat command for stream? If not, I'm going to work on getting Choice to do that. I'm sure that somebody will post it in the Twitch chat if it's not already there, or if there's not some way to it. But Denim David will be putting a Google Drive of all of these. So if you were here and you want to get photos of yourself, feel free to log into those, scroll through. He'll edit them for you if you send him specific ones that you want him to. But also, if you weren't here and you just want to get a little bit deeper of a dive or more into experience as to what may have been behind the scenes, what it was like in the other room while the teams were playing off of the main stage, that'll be the best way to get behind the access kind of photos of this.
True.
Yeah. So how do you feel about what you've been taking? You getting some beautiful shots?
I did. There was one I got of this guy. His name's Lance. Pretty good shot.
No. Tell me about taking pictures of the players. So I know you tried to get one of all of the teams that are on the main stage, and then a couple of them in the back. Are you getting individual ones of each of the players, like while they're at their PCs as well?
Yeah, so the lighting in this room is a lot better. So every time they all come up to the main stage, I'm able to get a good like overhead shot and then like kind of an in between the computer shot, just so you can kind of get a more immersed feel of what it actually looks like while they're playing the actual games. And then other than that, I'm just trying to get as many as I can of everybody just being here because, you know, this game has been Paragon, it's been Fall, it's been so many different versions, and Predecessor is sticking, and we are now, everybody is now here playing together in person, so what better way, you know, get it all.
Perfect. Well, hey, Denim, I appreciate what you are doing for the Pred community and you getting those photos. Make sure you're going to get onto the Gazoo LAN Invitational Discord. He's going to put that Google Drive up. I promise I won't let him procrastinate for this, but I see somebody over here that I want to bring in since we have some more time to kill.
Okay.
Kev!
Yeah,
Oh, here, take this off your. Take this off your
my
thing.
bad.
Kev, come here. Hold this.
Oh my lord.
Kev,
What is happening
we're
here?
live on the broadcast here. Kev Kaioken, for those who haven't been tuned in to Predecessor at all,
What's
you
up,
know
baby?
who this person is already. Kev, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great. How are you, Lance?
I am good. Yo, tell me about your LAN experience. I know you guys had a rough one. We weren't able to get you onto the main stage. Let everybody know like what team you were on and that you guys were here.
I was on Team Hive. I was the carry for my team, and I had an amazing experience. Honestly, it's my first time ever traveling for an event like this, and I think Omeda and Gazoo specifically is just putting a phenomenal experience. Our first time and putting us on the map. So I had a great time. We had difficulties as a team, but I think it will make us a better team moving forward, going against these awesome, great players.
Perfect. So, for those of you that have been living under a rock and don't know who Kev is a partnered streamer on Twitch, live nearly every single day. Kev Kaioken, go follow that page right now. Leave a follow, leave a subscription if you're feeling generous. Primes are free if you haven't already used it on this channel itself. But just Kev, I want to talk to you about like what your Predecessor experience is. I've known you since pretty much the beginning, the OG, like back in 2023 days.
You're my favorite.
You've evolved a lot as a player, Kev. I remember when I was on close to equal bars. You were always a little bit ahead of me, but we were close.
Yes, sir.
Now, you're up here, and I'm just admiring the greatness that you have become. What's Predecessor mean to you? How did you do this? And like, do you have a message to anybody looking to get better?
So yes, I've always been wanting to get better. Period. So I've reached out to Cure. I know you guys know who Cure is. Cole, Daisha, all the legends when it comes to the ADC space. I've been wanting to get my aim up. So I've always hit up all of these awesome players, and I've gotten better. You just gotta want to get better, want to research yourself, play every role, in my opinion. Try to get Paragon and evolve as a player. That's what I did. And then on the streaming side of things, just be yourself, man. If you want to get into the entertainment side of things, just be yourself and have positive vibes, baby. That's what it's all about. You know what I'm saying, Lance?
That's what it's about. And
Yes,
you go
sir.
live all the time because that's what Kev be live all of the time. But we've got this sorted. We've got this fixed. I believe we're ready to throw it back over to HD and Spooky. Kick it over to him, Kev.
Yes, sir. Go ahead and take over, guys. Thank y'all so much for being patient.
Yo.
Kaioken, it's always so lovely to hear from that. I mean, he's such a sweetheart.
He really is. I've enjoyed interviewing all the players here this
Yeah.
weekend. You know, we've been working behind the scenes, passing out passes and badges and getting food and all that good stuff, and really learning about the community as a whole. while we have a little bit of time here, we're getting one of the towers switched out for one of the players. These computers have been working just as hard as we have.
Jolly Rancher. Made with huge fruit flavor.
All night long, so got to do a tower switch. But we were able to bring up the draft screen here once again because I think I want to talk a little bit more about how these teams want to engage with each other, what the team fights are going to look like, some of those pit engagements, things of that nature. I do want to start here with Rogue, right?
Sure.
Big wombo combo ultimates, kind of like how we started, how they want to layer the two black holes and the soul storm pretty much together,
Black
and
hole,
then
budget black hole.
exactly, we've casted that a number of times. So expect to see that in terms of the engagement if the hook doesn't come to fruition. But I think Rogue will try to play a little bit patient, knowing that that is how Sin might engage in some of these contests, right? They're going to try to position around the pit, try to poke them out, but as they're jockeying for position, that hook's going to whiplash somebody through, and then they're going to be able to burst them down with the Ure and then the hypercharge from the Skylar. So multiple ways for them to engage around the pit here from Rogue. Sin, on the other side, a little bit more difficult for their engagement. They're really going to be relying on this Grux, which is why it's making me think it could be more in that support position.
Yeah.
Because as the support, you're unlocked a little bit earlier than you are in the off lane.
Right.
So that way, you can go roam around the map, do that smash and grab, rake people in.
Yeah, you got
and then
two pulls now.
You sure do. Absolutely. And then the Morn, you have the abduct, but you got to be a little bit closer for that kind of engagement there, friends. So going to be very interesting. Their pit fight engagements going to really be relying on that Grux.
Yeah. Smash and grab into the abduct, pull them out of the pit, and all of a sudden now your fight's not looking so good. Maybe. Talking about this Morgesh. This is the black sheep of the draft for me right now. I know no one likes to do it. No one wants to talk about Morgesh, but they picked it, Philly. They picked it.
Yeah, brother. If only Ego was still here, he'd be jumping for joy right outside the casting booth because he loves this character so much. His girlfriend even made a shirt for him that has him and Morgesh kind of like morphed together as some sort of
horrible
combined being. Anyway, it's a beautiful shirt, Maddie. We
beautiful.
Appreciate you. But yeah. I think you mentioned a really good point about that extra poke that she can provide. She gets that augment that gives her extra high of 10% range and damage to it that can really facilitate some of those poking engagements. She's a big lane bully, but against the Gideon, might be a little bit tough. Yeah, you want to run on top, but he can torn space away and then kind of toss a rock behind him as he's laughing and then hit you. But she's got that sustain. She can heal pretty well with all of her abilities, and if she itemizes correctly, she can be kind of like a pseudo tank. So.
That's true.
Very interesting. She is a big assassin, wants to go for those 1v1 engagements. Maybe she tries to take on the Shinbi. I'm not. Maybe the Ure will be her primary objectives, right? Because those were the opening picks here from Rogue. So that was their last pick for Sin. So that's got to be kind of the mindset there, I think.
Now, my big concern is the Morgesh into this Richter specifically here, right? Because you get pulled in. You're cooked, buddy. You better have the blink available because there's no movement abilities there. Sure, you can pop yourself a little bit of a movement speed there. And not if you're silenced, my friend. Not if you're skewered and suppressed. And it just feels like there's so many ways that Rogue can really take advantage of this Morgesh pick. And I see what Sin is doing here, right? I see the idea of getting that long-range damage out, using your Grux, pulling people out of position, and maybe trying to just use the Morgesh to capitalize on those targets. But one misstep is all it takes, Philly.
Absolutely, especially with a Richter on the board, right? And if you get a Morgesh against 2 or 3 other competitors, there's nothing she can do. She runs out of abilities quickly. You chain CC, and she's done. So, yeah, Spooky, you're absolutely right in that regard. So, Shin is going to have to play incredibly careful if the Morgesh is to go into the mid lane. She could go off lane. I mean, I don't know if we'll see that today, but you always throw that out there for the option.
All these better offlaners?
That's true. That's a really good point. I'm just throwing it out there for the crowd, right? You want to make them guess, make them think about what possibly could be going on.
Be happening.
Yeah. All right. I think I've kind of talked out this draft enough. The only way to find out more is to get into it, but we're still waiting for that tower to come back online.
You know what that means? It means it is time for just a quick little break here as we finish getting things sorted out. You know, some teams have problems in game. Some teams have problems with computers out of game. Either way, we'll get it fixed up, and we'll be right back.
You were bound by the chains of duty. Until true love turned the whole world on its head. And all the while, you were watching clothes dry. Audible. There's more to imagine when you listen.
Kong, this guy.
Say it again. That's right, everybody. We said it once, we'll say it again. We saved the best of the day for last. It's Sin coming up against Rogue. Still spooky, still HD Philly and Pacifist running that camera for us. Philly, we've talked about these drafts a lot, but now it's time to get down to the ground, get dirty, and see what they've both got to bring for us.
Absolutely, my friend, and we're seeing the notorious import on the Wukong. This guy is going to be a menace out here in Sanctuary, and we have Pacifist taking us through our augments here today. I'm not seeing anything too out of the ordinary besides Butters on the Shinbi. I was actually talking to Butters in the crowd during one of the sets about why the Shinbi can be impactful, and so we're going to see a little bit of that here today, especially going into that Grux, which we've highlighted already during the draft phase. She's going to be poking him out, trying to keep him in lane so he can't facilitate across the map.
Talk to me a little bit about this augmentation choice for this Shinbi. What is the purpose of bringing that one in for us? What do you think is the reason that he's going for the ability haste on this Shinbi right now versus, some of the more traditional augments we've seen in the past?
So you want to be able to poke the Grux out. And the more ability haste you have, the more line tempo can be online, the more you can send out those mystical, musical wolves and just make sure that he can't even touch the creeps, can't even scale in the game. We know that if the Grux falls behind early, they're not going to make any impact across the map. So you're really going to try to keep M down here on his signature hero.
Have to see what happens here. Butters, going to take a little bit of damage in this early game, but that's to be expected, right? That's one thing that this augment does kind of not have going for it, we'll say, is it takes a little bit of time to get online. You got to scale that ability haste up. So you got to sit back a little bit in the early game here. And sitting back is kind of the name of the game for this dual lane as well. With Wangle, look for a Riplash, not going to connect that one. But you can see the poles for poles coming through here. Both teams kind of wanting to get aggressive. And the way that both of them are playing, right? Ray's a little bit more aggressive here, starting off looking for that abduct. Wangle holding on to it until he knows that's down here. Talk to me a little bit how we expect this dual lane to go.
And the reason why you have to be careful with the Riplash is it does put you in a vulnerable position. You become kind of static as you unleash it.
Stun.
Exactly, which is why you see the players kind of jump slide as they're tossing out the hook. So that way they're a little bit more shifty as you can be as a giant robotic warden man.
That's why we do it.
That's exactly right. He's trying to be fancy with his footwork there in the dual lane. I really like this matchup. Just two beefy supports with the kind of displacement abilities, and then you have your little squishy ADCs behind him trying to just poke, do a lot of damage, and just try to get that priority in the lane here. I want to take a look at the junglers as we're reaching the 3-minute mark already here. Those river bugs are going to be the first points of contention.
Import making his way around this mid lane. You can see, take a look at that mini map. Do you have some collision course happening here? Does get spotted out by Warps. Not going to find too much here. Not looking for any aggression. Just looking to see what he can secure. Wasn't able to see if it does look like he actually got that river buff as well. So secured by Sin is a nice little buff to this team, right? That's mana or your mid laner or your jungler. That's XP and gold taken away from the enemy mid. That's a small little skirmish over here on the right side as well.
Absolutely. The biggest impact of that river buff take is that the Gideon had to retreat and go back to base. Couldn't stay in lane, which allows Morgish to get another set of wave. Look, she's pretty healthy. Her mana ball is pretty much full, so she can stay in lane a little while longer. However, the advantage of that is that Gideon probably has another tier 1, maybe a tier 2 item online. Import on the chase here, though, for Haru.
Doesn't look like he's going to be able to catch this one. That push pushes Haru away from the dual lane, away from his team. So there's not as much follow-up there. Instead, just has to walk away, probably take a reset here. But nothing venture, nothing gain. And it does force Haru to take that reset, go back to base. And we were just talking about how that helps the Morgish in mid lane. Well, the same is true over here on this left side. That's more XP and gold for your dual lane to get a little bit further ahead and kind of put yourselves away from that danger zone of this Richter. If you can make sure you hit 6 first, you're in a pretty spot.
100%, especially as the first Fang Tooth is coming online here. We're not seeing too much in terms of the disparity of the gold between the squads. Some of the tier 2 items here online, so nothing too out of the ordinary. But I love this play from Import because he knows that Rogue is trying to play through the dual lane. So if you can keep them under their tower, they won't be able to rotate to that first Fang Tooth. If they can claim it for themselves, they'll be able to kind of rotate to other objectives across the map. So I really like that play from Import there as they're setting up for first Fang.
And wave is coming in here. Things should reset as this Fang Tooth gets into its pit. It likes to hang out there.
Absolutely.
2 hands to be under that tower. That does give Rogue the first opportunity to make this rotation cross start setting up. You need to get vision down first and foremost. If you take a look at that mid lane as well, you can see that we've got kind of position all around for Rogue. They might be the ones in the better spot for this first Fang Tooth. The question is, do they have the means to go for it?
And this is where that poke meta kind of comes through. This is where the Wraith really excels. He's going to be using those knock-knocks to force people away. And you do see that Wangle's taking a really long rotation, kind of caught between two mines, leaving Haru on his lonesome there. We did talk about in the draft.
Oh! What? Whoa, the first blood comes. The shit hits level 6, gets the curse off. You cannot run from this Morgish. As much as I hate it, Philly, it's shown its value right here, right now. Put Sid up on the board.
Gosh dang it, Morgish. I'm trying to talk about Fang Tooth, and you're just having first blood and making meals of the Gideon in the mid lane. That will open up the Fang Tooth. They get the pick, and that's what their composition wants to do. Get picks, rotate to objectives, whereas Rogue want to fight at those objectives. So a great job there from the Morgish. You see the rest of the team coming over to the Fang.
2 hands doing a good job there. Making sure he's staying far enough back from Rogue's dual lane to keep that wave pushing up. He's safe. Easily makes this rotation in as Import started this one up as soon as he gets that first blood kill going through. First Fang Tooth, first blood. Sin feeling very good right now.
Absolutely. It's those European teams. They only fight when there's an objective to be had. They only push the issue when they know that there's something to take for it. They're not just fighting for the sake of fighting, where we see a lot in the NA region. We're seeing some activity here on the off-lane side. Warps trying to make a move.
Looking for a little bit here. Not able to find too much, though. M be taking a step around. A little bit of an invade comes through. Not a whole lot venture, not a whole lot gained there. You know, sometimes you do both and sometimes you do neither. Sometimes you do a little bit of either one there. Back to this dual lane here. We've seen some good pressure come out, but we haven't seen a whole lot of rotations come out really from either support just yet. And it's a little strange to me because they are so good at facilitating these teams. Now, maybe we're just not looking for Ray to make the rotations out. He's got the Eclipse. He's got that global ultimate anyway. And Import can kind of just do whatever he wants in the jungle. But when do we see Wangle lead?
That's a really good question. I don't know if he can. Can Haru sustain long enough against the contagion from the Morn and those long-range pokes of the knock-knock, really? What I'm looking at is Warps. Warps has not entered that side of the map, but he's entering here now as M is on the run. He'll take the Blast Cone, no kill potential there, but the Soul Storm. Ooh, he kind of read the move, but misread it at the same time.
Yeah, unfortunately not able to catch that Blast Seed. Instead, gets stuck in the Soul Storm, it would appear. You know, that is one hell of a storm going on. There's a lot of souls, a lot of stormy weather.
Ooh, and the forecast, back to you, Spooky.
M tries to pull him out of it, but he
what a fun guy.
can't do it. That's an interesting one. I've never seen this one before. Oh, he drops down. Look at that. Look at him go.
Look, you know, throughout the LAN, we've been seeing what we call the minion bug, right, where the minions kind of disappear because the frame rate is so high that they're just they just speed out of existence, basically. But that I have never seen. Looks like it will be Warps disconnecting here. There is no pause function after all, so we'll see how our official Blue Jay decides to handle the situation.
That's all on Blue Jay. I'm just here to say what I see, and I see Import coming in for a nasty little gank. Fox smells it. Nice torn space back under that tower. Shin not able to capitalize. Doesn't look like he tagged him with the dot damage, so no curse going to be coming through on that one. Finally, Fox gets to take a step back and say, hey, not this time, buddy.
Yeah, and that's the good thing with the Gideon. A very safe mid laner, does have some ability to escape. We do see Fox re-entering the Sanctuary, which is good. They're now a level behind here in the jungle, so that's disaster here from Rogue. They really need Warps to be able to facilitate good 1v1 skirmishing here in the offlane, but it's not going to be too much kill potential. I'm looking once again at the Import on the Wukong here, getting those river bugs, really trying to facilitate his mid lane.
Yeah. Now, the good news is Import did just take over to that level 7, so it's not too much of a lead here. Warps should have some time to get that back. You know, respect to both teams not going for that kill on the disconnected player. Glad to see him back in, but now take a look at that timer there. Fangtooth about 3/4 of the way back up. Wangle not going to connect that Rip Lash, and that means there's no opportunity to get set up around this next objective. That's something that Rogue has been fishing for time and time again, and we just haven't seen it come through. We are almost 10 minutes in, and you can tell this is Sin's game plan right here. This is the EU team taking it slow, playing the fights they want to, and now Wangle finds the first Riplash skewer, and Fox has the torn. Oh, Black Hole gonna find it, and now Rogue can set up.
Oh my goodness, I was wondering if Wangle could be sticky on the main stage, and the main support does just that. Takes down the mid laner. No Bully Morgish in there, but a little too early. They can't rotate to the Fang just yet, but they settle for the Mini Prime instead.
It'll be Mini Prime. Actually, it is a 1-for-1 trade there across the map. Or actually, it's just 2 for 0. Rogue gets both kills on that one. Sets themselves up for a nice Mini Prime, and Wangle finds another one. Pulls right in. 2 hands. Can you find a way back out? You need one escape path, and he gets 1 kill for it. Wants to move back in. Wangle now trying to get back under the tower. He's going to be okay for now, but Import clutches up.
My goodness, what a rotation there from Import, just squishing people left and right. But the shifty nip of 2 hands, creating the space for himself to then utilize his range to poke out his opponent. Now, knowing they won there in the dual lane, the Fangtooth is open should they decide to start it. The respawn timers are still pretty low at this point here, friend, so it might be a little bit of a risky venture. We did talk about in the draft how Wangle really needs to be locked in. He's kind of their key player there in the support role, and especially on the Feast or Famine character known as the Richter. He's got 2 hooks and 2 kills so far when it counts.
That's all you really need. You can miss 20 hooks in a game, but if you find the 3 that count, that's all you need to make it happen. Fangtooth is up, but so are all 10 members in this game. Butters maybe look for a little bit of pressure. If he can find a way to force M out and make that trip over to the left side, that could open things up a little bit for Sin.
Absolutely. It's the second Fang. That's when your offlaner should be rotating, but if you rotate as the Grux, that is going to push your tower. You can see how many plates he's already got. 2 more ain't nothing in the bank. I do want to highlight the facts that Fox, the mid laner there, got the Orb Prime because they're trying to help him win that battle against the Morgish here. The pressure once again in the dual lane.
And we haven't seen a whole lot of rotations go into that mid lane as well. Warps has kind of been focusing on that right side of the map, looking at trying to put M down. I do have to wonder if that's going to cause some problems. This Morgesh, if allowed to scale, especially with a mini prime, can really just push your mid laner out of the game and say, haha, I'm 3 levels up. And it's Import making the first rotation in. Torn space, not going to quite get you out of danger. Looking for the stun, not going to connect. Good blink from Fox.
But he had to expend a lot of resources to get back through that gank. And you know what? As a jungler, you'll take that every time. That's a big 5-minute cooldown off the board. I like that you highlight warps. We haven't seen the last Kyoshinzo in these lanes just yet. Hasn't really made any of those rotations. We do see some of the second items coming online for both of these squads, but still, Yurei needs about 2 to 3 items to really be effective. Now she's trying to finally make her move in the off lane, but the Grux a little too shifty.
And this is the consequence of showing your jungler on the right side of the map. Immediate response from Sin, hey guys, let's go do the Fangtooth. They're not going to have the numbers for it. You do see Warps trying to make that rotation over, but it's too little too late. Allied team killed Fangtooth. You see that right there? That goes to Sin.
And now they're 2 up, so they have that extra 8% out of combat movement speed, which is going to be even more crucial for Import to just be a menace throughout the entirety of Sanctuary. So that's a great point out there. Warps has to make an impact here in this game just for now. We're seeing the Tainted Blade come out for the side of M. A very interesting choice because I'm not sure where the healing is coming from. I guess you do that to counter the Yurei. That Anima Burst can really just kind of get your health bar all the way back up, but you're playing for that specifically. I don't know, a little bit interesting in that regard.
You know, sometimes a little bit of healing is all it takes to really mess with the mental. I've seen too many health bars go from 1 bar to 3 bars. I was just saying, hey, why am I still at 20 health? What gives here? 2 hands, trying to put these health bars a little bit lower as well. Knock through the wall, but here comes the Displacer. Oh my goodness, gets rewound right back into the lane. And Wangle is on the rotation. Riplash not going to connect. And Ray is here to make sure nothing else happens. Haru takes some good damage.
And that's that range of engage. And these 2 big beefy boys, once again, going at it, trying to protect their carries at all costs. But the range of engagement so far from 2 hands, he can poke you out safely from distance.
And that's the thing, right? The Abduct is a shorter range pull than Richter. I'm actually going to be over here in the mid lane. For dive, not finding too much there. But you take a look at the Wraith, and it's so much longer than Skylar's engagement. And you can just sit back and say, you know what, Ray, you're taking the brunt of this. You've got the healing, you've got the CC, I trust you. I'm just going to do what I can from long range. Like, look at this monkey. What is he doing?
He's doing some weird business there in the jungle. But we do have a tower going down here in the duo lane. Once again, they really want to keep Haru and Wangle under wraps here. You can see Wangle just taking shot after shot, trying to pull somebody under the tower. And he stays a little bit too long, friend.
A little bit too long, but at the same time, he's got no way out. You try to close the door, knock, knock. It's damage, it's a kill. Import going to be walking out of this one, trying to catch Warps here, not going to quite find it. Shin gets a little bit of CC under that tower. Not going to be finding too much there. Looking for the fight, trying to get out, but Ray with the contagion puts Fox down. Now 2 hands, still gets Ray gets the double kill with the global contagion, dude. That's disgusting.
The Morn, he's just too strong, man. He can do everything. He can take damage, he can heal, he can displace you. Like, he's just doing an ungodly amount of work, so it only makes sense that he cleans up a double here. Sin firmly in the driver's seat. They take another tower.
Take another tower, feeling very good, and I have a slight issue with Butters here. Goes into the stasis. All right, we are hearing some word from our production. A little bit of bad news. This game might have a few technical difficulties here. Where did Billy go? Oh, there you are. Hey, look at him. So we've had a few PCs crash, my friends. We're going to go ahead and see about getting that sorted out. We will see what Blue Jay has to say about how officially we are going to handle this. Most likely going to be a reset coming forward with the amount of PCs crash, but no official word just yet. So sit tight, stay tuned, and we will let you know right after this.
to start.
It's time to level up your game. Introducing the all-new ESPN app. All of ESPN, all in one place. Your home for the most live sports and the best championship moments. It's the ultimate fan experience with no annual contract required. Head to the ESPN app or stream.espn.com and sign up now.
Meet Stello, the powerful glucose biosensor that reveals how food, exercise, and even sleep affect your glucose. Now, tracking your glucose is as easy as tracking the weather.
Can we stop for food?
No, hay comida en la casa.
Shave it, tear it, pull it, hide it, wax it. Spend hours doing it. Shave it again, and again, and again. Or just start being you, without putting yourself through the hassle. Because Philips Lumea Gentle Light put hairs to rest, so you can enjoy long-lasting, hair-free, smooth skin. Be free in your own skin.
Discord. Maybe I should give.
Talk to me a little bit, Phil.
I'm ready for some debauchery and Tom. I'm ready for some debauchery and Tom. I'm ready for some.
Pred Obsessors, welcome back, and I know you are Pred Obsessors, or you wouldn't be here at this late hour with us, and we love you so much for it. Tell no one we've gone rogue on this stream. We sit here in our den of sin. This is Predecessor After Hours.
Oh, man, I'm ready for some debauchery and tomfoolery, my friend, but I know these players are ready for action.
They are.
We kind of went over the draft a little bit more, but kind of some of the highlights that we're talking about here in terms of how these teams want to engage Rogue. This kind of assassin-style composition where they want to engage with the Black Hole, Soulstorm, lock some people down with the skewer around these big team fights. But if they're not doing that, they're going to be looking for Wangle to rotate across the map, try to find and engage with the Riplash, get that singular target, burst them down, etc. Whereas on the opposite end, Sin, they're more going for this pick comp, right? All these characters excel in some of these 1v1 combat situations. So they're going to be looking to play a little bit of that guerrilla warfare here in Sanctuary today.
And we've seen a little bit of these drafts come through and see some success. Now you may notice that those kill counts, those have been reset. That timer has been reset. This is a full restart of the match. That's all right. We've got everything back working here. Are we expected to see a lot of the same beats as the first game? Or do you think that time has passed now, Philly? Maybe some of these teams have revealed too much in those early stages, and now the opposite side is prepared for the tricks that are pulling out of those bags.
Yeah, it's like the hyperbolic time chamber or something, my friend, where maybe they've learned something from how they started in game number one, where now we're resetting game number one, and we're going to try to figure it out from there.
I didn't know we had a pause function.
I also didn't know that, no.
Two hands, two issues maybe. We'll see if we can free one of those up and roll us back into things here. But so far, we've got time. Talk to me a little bit, Philly. What are we expecting to see here as our game goes on? We saw some skirmishing happening. We saw some fights around the Fangtooth. We saw Sin taking two of them earlier. Do you think those carry over?
I mean, my friend, I thought you were going to ask me some personal questions. I thought we were just going to have a good time here in the After Hours show. Not even talk about the Predecessors. We're just two fans just sitting on the couch watching a wonderful game.
No. One fan and like one mega fan.
Okay,
it's
mega fan.
You'll get on my level.
No,
one day.
Justin, our interviewee of Primal, he was the super fan, so even better than the
both
both
of us.
of us.
Primal super fan.
That's true. Very specific for our
Justin,
boy
this
Justin.
is a challenge for you. Are you in Twitch chat? If you are, name all 5 Sin players right now.
Bro, that guy is asleep, bro. His flight is at 6:30 tomorrow morning. There is
Tomorrow
no
morning?
chance. Yeah, that's like 5 hours from now or whatever.
We got more Pred tomorrow morning.
That's true. You and I will be on the cast for our opening finals weekend tomorrow. So definitely looking forward to that because we know you're going to sleep with us and you're waking up with us.
Well, you know, I'll wake up at some point tomorrow. Well, we'll get to that when we get to it. I'll send you a message when I wake up in the morning. Oh, look at your beautiful face here.
This guy.
I actually don't have his number.
That's true. We just communicate via Discord. Maybe I should give, I guess I could give you my number. It's pretty easy.
I answer Discord a lot more than I text back. I'll tell you that right now.
That is also fair. That is also fair. You asked me, what kind of adjustments do I think these teams are going to make? Warps?
Yeah, you told me you didn't want to talk about that.
You're right. Folks, I did say there was going to be some tomfoolery and debauchery. Bro, hit me with the rock, paper, scissors right now. Ready?
You're going to see my secret tech, all right?
Okay, ready. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Okay, I guess you want. Okay, I can't win from games of probability, but maybe
Want to go again?
Sure, all right. Ready? Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
It's too easy, man.
Well, maybe Sin or Rogue will win in a best of two and 2 games of this best of 3 format. I am going to be looking at warps here, though. What kind of adjustments is he going to make on the Ure? Right, because we didn't see him get active in the lanes. He was kind of awkward here because Shimby doesn't really have any setup for you. You have to facilitate the whole entire thing, which means you need to be level 6. So you have to power farm until you get to that point. Then you try to go to the dual lane. You do have the Riplash, but like we said, feast or famine. Your carry is not the Revenant who can lock people down with a root, etc. So it's really hard to facilitate there.
True.
And then the Gideon, also doesn't have catch himself. He can root real quick, but he has to hit the spells and kind of be difficult, especially with the Mortgage. You can kind of run away, be a little bit shifty. So it's really hard for Warps to find some of these picks in the lane. He is going to have to deadlift when it comes to some of those ganks.
Well, I think there is a very easy change you can make for Warps here, right?
Okay.
If you're going to go ahead and go gank M, do not freeze in your soul storm. End the ability. Come back down. Join the rest of us on the map, and then you can go somewhere else on the map afterwards. Don't disconnect from the game. You can continue farming that way. And, you know, it really feels like some of his problems were kind of based around that, right? He had some bad luck, got set behind, had to start focusing on that farm a little bit more. Now going to an even game state, hopefully has a few more opportunities to find those ganks, make those rotations, and come up big in those lanes where they're needed.
Spooky Mars, that was some 5-level, you know, analysis in terms of how to get in this one. No, but you're absolutely right. For this assassin burst composition, we've seen, if it's not the poke, you want to play fast because, okay, instead of waiting for teams to kind of position, you're just like, we're going to full send. And that's kind of what NA teams are known for. And so I think that is what Rogue is going to try to do, be a little bit shifty, kind of exemplify their namesake, so to speak, and try to get after this Team Sin here. But I want to talk a little bit about the journey of Team Sin. We haven't really divulged into that too much. To get to this point, they played Flow State.
Tough match.
One of the best teams in NA, right? Some would say.
PCC Summer Series NA champions.
Absolutely, won 10K off of that tournament.
Yeah.
They walloped them, dude, in a 2-0 fashion. No contest there. But to Flow State's credit, they took a little bit of time for their match to come up, so maybe not ready in the prime position. But when Flow State played in their lower bracket round, absolutely demolished MTG. So, yeah, they need a little warm-up game. So how much credit can you give there? But still, Sin. They've just been riding this momentum game after game to get to this point. Can they ride it just a little bit more here as we're reaching the midnight mark?
Well, they're going to have to build it up first here. Few attempts at slowing them down here. I don't know if maybe Rogue is communicating with some eldritch deity. They've definitely found themselves in a tough situation here, right? Sin has made the progress they need. They've overcome challenges to get here. Rogue similarly overcome challenges, but they only had that one game. We've talked about that a few times.
That's true.
They don't have as many reps today under their belt, and their fingers may not be as warm. Granted, a little bit of a gap between both teams' games today. Just got to wonder how much more each team have left in the tank, and how much have they already expended.
This is what we've known from PCCs in the past. In any esports tournament, you have to have that endurance throughout the entire time. We've been in scrims where they're scrimming at like 11 o'clock at night. We're sitting in on the scrims, watching the players
Well, I'm
scrim.
not invited to those.
All right.
I'll tell you, man.
Fair enough. I'll get you in on the next one. However, we are in those scrims at 11 o'clock at night with the players because they know they're training for moments just like these, right?
Literally just like these. It's like, what is it, like midnight? For you and me, that's like 1 a.m.
I'm on the East Coast. I mean, normally I don't go to bed until about 1 a.m. You know, much as my therapist is May, but you know, we are putting our own training in, whether we're getting our note. Spooky, you'll be my therapist when you get my number right after this, because I know I'll text you and you'll never text me back. I'll just vent, and then I'll be like, I'm good now. My mental health has been cured.
Good friend. What can I say?
You are, dude, fantastic friend. Actually, one of the best things that we've been doing this entire time has been, you know, getting to know each other a little bit better. We've been casting for a long time, but like the levels of friendship here between everybody, meeting a lot of the players for the first time, meeting the members of the PCC face to face has been absolutely fantastic, and that is why we've all come here to the Invitational.
That's really one of the most magical things about the LAN, right? You know, you can have your tournaments online, you know, you can have the interviews, you can talk to people all the time you want, but I never get to do this with you. I'm looking you in the eyes. I've talked to Kev, I've talked to Wangle, I've talked to so many people today. That's just what you come here for. That is that extra special touch that you're looking for.
Absolutely. We got to see what Soul Reaper looks like. You know, he was trying to keep that under wraps for how long?
Really? Why is he doing that to us?
I don't know, but now the jig is up. Everybody knows what he looks like, so I guess he'll have to put his face on stream.
We'll have to do that. Be right back with you guys. We might have some unfortunate news. We're going to get the scoop on that. Be right back. Yeah, get back there, Choice. And transition.
Ooh, nailed it.
eyes.
These eyes?
These eyes make a statement.
They take it all in.
They read books.
Read the feed.
Read the room.
These eyes I got from my mom, which I got from my mom, which I got from my mom.
These eyes help me bake this.
Nail this?
They find things. Most of the time, they wink.
And blink.
And occasionally cry. These eyes are important to me.
Because they're the only ones I've got.
And they deserve better. That's why I take them here to America's Best.
A place that's all about better.
Better care. That doesn't break the bank.
With a team of doctors and associates who believe every
I
Deserves better.
especially these ones.
Okay, your home, auto, and business vehicle are all protected with Progressive. Nice. It gets a bit overwhelming running a business and a family. Ooh, it sounds like someone could use a vacation. A what? A vacation. Like taking a break from the stresses of life and work. Oh, like when I'm logging everyone's hours so I get to sit for a while. No. Oh, like when I'm making a delivery in my van and a song comes on that I like. No. So like when I take my work van to the car wash and it's all quiet in that tunnel for like 5 minutes? No, it's like when you go away and you take pictures and, I don't know, I've never been on one either.
What game?
And so then I says to him,
so
welcome back, everybody. Oh my goodness, where do we go? Right here, right now. We got game number 2, a draft for the ages. Take a look at this. Look at this number up here. Sin up 1 game. Rogue did not win that game on account of Sin winning that game.
What game? I don't remember that game being played.
A game was played.
Oh, okay.
A game was not seen, but a game was played.
In the mystical ether, okay.
Now we get to see a draft. And look at this. Similar bands. We've talked about those before, Philly. Have your feelings changed on them?
No.
No.
Fang Mao is freaking nasty. Actually, one of my favorite characters in the game. When I first started playing Predecessor, I'm like, this is the guy. But he was kind of butt back then, so I was like, I can't play this guy. So I was like, all right, I'm going doing something else. Rogue, though, doing a little bit more of the same. Picking the Ure once again, first picks. They really are entrusting warps on this character right now. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see that first game to see how that all panned out, but we will see it here in the second. The picks and bans flying through. We're seeing the Countess and the Rampage. They've been basically mainstays in that gray screen the entire time. Imports Wukong way too out of bounds there. Was going Augment, Penumbra, everything crazy. Sin, a very beefy front line here. Kwong and more.
And that's what this Wukong ban really gives away, right? Because previously, you had banned the Kwong. It's been seeing a lot of success today. You didn't want to deal with that. Well, now you target out Mr. Imports Wukong. All right, let's take a Kwong. We're fine with that. We'll take that trade any day of the week.
Yeah.
Sure, you pick yourself up a Grux, you pick yourself up a Gadget, but you had those before too, right? So the question is, well, you didn't have the Gadget. The Gadget actually got banned away. You know what? It's been a long night. How does this change things, though? I mean, does the Ure Soulstorm combo well with this Tesla Dome? What are you looking for here?
Yeah, that's a really good point here. The Gadget has seen a big resurgence in terms of this poke composition, right? Just really trying to section off space, and we talked about that before. What I do want to talk about is some of the stats that we have from D-Dog the Stat Man.
Yes.
We love Stat Man.
Stats.
He's loving the stats. Okay, Zarus.
I like that.
I used to sing, and that's why now I'm a yapper,
do that
dude.
again, honestly.
Okay, it is after hours. Maybe I sing the entire cast. You know, chat. If you want me to do it, subscribe now. Give me some bits, and I will sing for you on the stream. Don't even test me. Choice, I'm telling you, if they give out bits and stuff, I don't even know how that works. I'll sing on the stream.
Give us the thumbs up.
All right, I thought Kira was over here, but now Kira's over here. Mirrors confused me. My doctor says it's got something wrong with my eyeball. I don't know,
but LASIK.
I did get LASIK. I did get LASIK. Doesn't help with my left eye's a little lazy. Anywho, Kwong has the most wins so far, and Kwong a very versatile pick, right? Can play in support, can play in the jungle, can play in the offlane. Very good in that regard. Zarus, though, my guy, the most losses, 10 overall, 15 matches played. So you're like, most wins, most losses. It's probably net neutral. We're gonna win this game. The way Sin's been playing, though, I think no matter what they draft, they're probably gonna crush it.
Now, one thing to keep in mind is they have drafted the Zarus into that Gadget there, and that's a pretty typical counterpick there where, you see the Coliseum come up, you say, nice fight, buddy. Here's a microwave, enjoy it. And all of a sudden, you can't really take that fight inside the Tesla Dome anymore because it's no longer Coliseum, it's damage, it's pain.
Are you not entertained, ladies and gentlemen?
The answer is no. No, it hurts in here.
We called it the counter dive, my friend, right? If the Zarus jumps on top of the Gadget because she is the backline threat, then you just Tesla Dome yourself. The Zarus doesn't really want to fight in that. You can kind of survive a little bit longer to allow the team kind of catch up here. Yeah. I am interested to see this Greystone probably going to go into the off lane here. Grux, potentially the support, actually, knowing that Warps will be in the jungle on the Ure.
That's true. That's true. This is something we talked about in game number 1 draft.
Sure did.
That's the part of game 1 that we did get to see.
We did, and I love it. I love the draft.
So talk to me about this Grux support. What does it bring here? How do you think it plays with this Kira? And looking over at Sin's draft, where we see the TB, you see the Morn, how does it play against that?
Yeah, great question. So we've seen the rise over the last couple of patches with the tanks. It's been the Morn, it's been the Steel, it's been the Richter. It's been the Kwong now, right? And now people are like, well, the Aurora's been good too. We've Peak kind of started that train. Then we have the Grux. People are like, well, he's kind of also a little bit beefy. He could kind of fit this mold as well. So people have, and the Rampage, can't forget him. So they've been converting these bruisers into these tank supports, basically. And that's what his job here is to do. He's going to be the primary initiator, looking for that smash and grab, raking people in like we've talked about to really get the fart. Really
after hours, my friends.
I told you, debauchery and tomfoolery will be abound in this cast, but we will bring you the best predecessor knowledge you have ever heard in your entire life. He's going to rake people in. Then the Soulstorm will keep them contained, right? Yeah. Then you got the Beyblade letting it rip. You got the Stoneforge Soul, probably go for the large ultimate augment, right? There's a lot of ways for rogues to counter these fights in terms of these like pit engagements. Sin, on the other hand, can do the same thing. Last pick Faye, which we've been seeing Shin on Faye a lot throughout this tournament. You go the fly trap, you get everybody in, you then Coliseum one member. A lot of people are scattering. What do we do? I like their engagement here as well. So it's going to be very interesting push and pull, a little tug of war here between these squads.
It's mostly just pulls. You get the pull over here, pull over there.
Here, pull my finger, dude.
How do you do that?
We said it was going to happen. We said it was going to happen.
So I just want to point out, there's a couple of tournaments ago, all right? We're in PCC, and we're seeing a lot of Aurora supports, and everyone's talking about how bad Grux is. I just want to state, I said first, well, why aren't we playing this guy in support? Look at all the Cs he has. Like, he's got a knock-up, he's got a stun, he's got a pull. I really like seeing this kind of resurgence. Well, it's not a resurgence, the first kind of foray into the support field. But I like what's happening over here. Now the question becomes, how does it play into the Morn specifically, right? Because you pull him in, if you're not careful, maybe you get abducted into a mez, and all of a sudden, hey, where did my health bar go? To the other guy.
Yeah, okay. I think you asked that question before. I completely just didn't even understand what you were saying. I just went on a different tangent. But speaking,
I love tangents.
I'm clicking here with you now. We're firing on all 55 cylinders in our 2 brain cells we have combined between us.
They're all his.
With the Morn, if you do get pulled in, you do double pain, and you get yourself healed back. So I think he's okay with taking some of those engagements. If you do get poked out a little bit, he can heal himself back up. It's a little bit tough because maybe...
We're here. Progressive's accident response detected an accident and sent for help.
Did we beat him? Where's Superman?
Saving the world, maybe?
So we did beat him!
Sorry, Superman! Yeah, I don't think car insurance is really his thing.
Not with us around.
Yeah, I already called a tow truck and started your claim.
I guess not all heroes wear capes.
Yep, some wear tummy capes.
Ew, what? Don't say things like that out loud.
No.
Yeah, it's embarrassing.
This is what happens when cookies catch the creamiest wave. Ready to dive in? Hershey's Cookies and Cream.
Introducing Taco Bell's $3 steak burritos. From the zesty Chipotle Ranch to the indulgent cheesy melt. We call them rich, but they're just $3. New $3 steak burritos, only at Taco Bell.
You want to level smash and grab first because that's your primary engage tool, so you want to have that damage online. So then usually when you're in the off lane, you do double pain first so that you can sustain in lane.
I always do that, yeah.
So with that being said, his healing won't be as robust when he does get into some of these engagements. And Kira, not really the best at following up, right? She really wants you to go take all the damage, and then she'll be kind of like poke and poke and then finish somebody off with the purge, right?
Yeah, are you still alive? Are you still alive? Are you still alive? Okay, you can back off now. Dude, why'd you die?
Exactly. Yeah, that's exactly. So the clear, though, in this lane is going to be very interesting because Kira notoriously bad clear. So then it's like, okay, well, can this Grux step up? Well, if you're playing against a Morn support, he can step up a little bit. We take some of those trades like we talked about. The thing is, Twin Blast, the Grenade Augment, Grenadier, dude, is that French? I'm Italian, I don't know those words. So it's just like pop, 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 pop. He can burst down the wave.
It's probably German.
I think it's German.
I don't know. Who cares, man? We got a game to enjoy here.
Didn't even give us the counting choice. The disrespect, brother.
They just got tired of hearing us talk, and that's fine because we're still going to keep talking because we got a whole game in front of us.
Hell yeah.
Then we can close this one out in 2. It's late for them, too. Rogue. And they don't care how late it is. They don't want to get knocked to that lower bracket. They want to find themselves a way back into things here. So just taking a look at the drafts that you have here. Did I say reduced blink there?
Yep. You went with the Chieftain's thing. Oh,
what is this?
Oh, we haven't seen this since the dawn of time, friend. It's an invade before the 1 minute mark.
Unfortunately, gets spotted out by Butters immediately.
Boo.
And everyone calls it off. You know, that's me there. I'm saying, you know what? They saw me. Let's get at it, bro. You got that reduced cooldown, right? No, that's the Grux. Don't care. Blink anyway.
That's true, and you know that could be because then he wants to engage a little bit more frequently, right?
Yeah.
So if that blink is on a quicker cooldown, then you can do those engages. So it makes a lot of sense. I like that little hide and seek. That was actually one of the segments Choice wanted us to do between matches, like run around the whole thing over here, try to find each other.
Why is this the first I'm hearing of this?
You got to read the show notes, brother. It's on tab number 5.
You think I could count to tab number 5?
That's you got 5 of these, buddy. I'm just kidding. But I mean, this is, we did talk about how this lane is going to go. I want to talk a little bit about the mid lane because as Pacifist, our observer here for this matchup, notated, we went with the healing augment for the Faye. So she really wants to facilitate in those team fights a little bit more, sustain and help her team, win some of those engagements.
I mean, you add on this Faye healing to the contagion as well from this morning. That's a lot of sustain that Sin has. If Rogue wants to win these fights, you got to go in really quickly and find the success. Otherwise, Sin is a team that can take a few steps back and say, let's heal up. Are we on our tower? Are we at their tower? It doesn't matter where you are. If you can take that step back and just regain, these fights look grim for Rogue.
Absolutely, because do they have the staying power? I mean, you have the Anima Burst, you have the Stoneforge Soul, you have the Double Pain, so they've got some healing on their end as well. This healing augment also allows Shin to stay in lane a little bit longer because Gadget has been poking people out left and right throughout this entire tournament. So she's been using the Untamed Growth on herself here from time to time. You can also help your Zarus if they dive in. You can toss the Untamed Growth. He gets some healing as he's trying to win those 1v1 engagements. We're seeing Warp get active early.
M trying to find a dash away. Ooh, good blink. Takes him up over the wall. Butter's not able to follow that one. M gets to keep his life for right now. Probably going to just take a quick reset. One thing I want to talk to you about here, Philly.
Yeah.
We talked about the healing augment coming out. Hold that thought. Good. Abduct comes out from Ray there. Not going to find that smash and grab. Blink is expended by Wangle, but he's fine with a reduced cooldown. So Faye takes the healing augment, right? That means you're not having the extra movement speed that you typically see on that path, which means less paths out of a fight, less paths into a fight. What does that look like for Sin's engagements? They're pretty pokey themselves.
Absolutely. I mean, so Zarus is a dive character, and we were talking to some players like Robot Juan really likes the Kwong. He's like, I usually just play him like I rush right in. So he's like, okay, if you have two people rushing right in, then you don't really necessarily need those Bramble Paths because they have kind of other ways to engage upon it. They also have the Eclipse, so they can kind of hide the way they want to, space themselves around some of these pits. So I'm okay with it. I usually prefer the Bramble Patch here. We have another exchange here in the duo lane, though, however.
Good body block from Wangle. Pushes a little bit more damage to the 2 hands. Looking for the blink from Blink. With the first blood, follows him up. Takes 2 hands down. 1 kill for the board, and Rogue feeling good.
Hell yeah, and this is exactly how Rogue wants to start this. As we talked about during game number 1, they facilitate their team through that dual lane, so getting a kill early, especially when the lane prow is usually not in your favor, that is a massive kill going their way, especially getting it onto Haru this early on, and that's off the back of that Grux.
Yeah, and really shout out to the positioning from Wangle there, right? He finds that smash and grab, and instead of just, walking him down like I would do and holding left mouse button, smacking people around, he takes that step around and says, oh, you want to run away? Can you run through me? No? Well, that's tough for you, isn't it? Now, Sin, a little bit on the back foot here, and that's kind of true across the board here. M struggling a little bit in this offlane, about a level down, maybe half a level, but Butters keeping these waves pushed up, clearly taking the better end of these trades. Like, what are we expecting, or when are we expecting Sin to find their strong point here?
Yeah, that's a good question. We are going to see an engage here as Warps is getting active once again. This is what we didn't see in game 1.
Ray put under that tower. All the damage is expended, though. I was not able to find anything with the ultimate, but 2 hands walking him down. Import on the other side comes up as 2 hands finishes up the kill onto Haru. And just like that, Sin tie this one up. Looking maybe for a hunt down as Wangle trying to run to his team. You can't stop for that buff, my friend. Tethered down, smash and grab comes through, but that health bar is too low, and Wangle is down with the dirt.
Oh, a little greedy from the wangle dangle there, man. That's unfortunate. He goes down there as well. The fly trap expended from the Fae in that engagement, whiffed completely, but it was utilized there. You were talking a little bit about, okay, how do these teams want to scale into this game, as we do see Sin taking the first objective. They did that in the game number 1. They're going to continue that trend here in game number 2. However, we're going to be looking here for a very strong mid-game from these guys. Okay, this is where they want to go. Kira definitely destroys the Twin Blast later on, so we're going to be looking at that. Can they get some exit frags here, though, my friend? That's the question.
They're looking for one. Two hands avoids the smash and grab, but he's by himself in a 1v3. There's nothing to do there. Haru reminds him who is still in this game. Crossbows find their shots.
Hell yeah, we love to see the Kira getting active. And then, is that a single dingle in the mid lane?
Looks like a solo bolo to me there, Philly. Fox picks that one up nice and easy. Rogue currently up on the kill board, and we didn't get a chance to mention it, but the last game that these guys played wasn't exactly a close kill count, right?
No.
Rogue was down, I think it was like 20-4.
Yeah.
Already clearly showing quite a lot more fight back, though. Not ones to let a bad game 1 or second game 1 get into their heads. Rogue looking fantastic right now.
Third time's the charm here, my friend, right? They've got the same look 3 times with the Ure. They're like, all right, this time I think we know how to make it work. And it's Warps, even though he doesn't have the ultimate, is able to just facilitate the damage. That's what she's there to do, right? Severance in, cut some souls up, Anima burst them down, and then let the rest of your team finish them off. So really glad to see Warps moving around the map, going to clear their blue side now. We'll see how the priority shifts here in the offlane as he's doing so.
And this is something you talked about wanting to see from Warps. You wanted to see this more active play style. I don't know if Warps is like cued into your comms, or maybe it was just that one misstep in that first game that cost them the momentum they're looking for. But I really like what we're seeing so far. Both these teams more than willing to step up against each other. It's just a matter of which way these lanes are pushing is where that aggression is going to fall.
Absolutely, and I think what we need to look at here right now, folks, is the dual lane, because right now they're not at level 6, and they need to get there for the side of Rogue before this next Fangtooth comes up. So they'll have the time to do it, but it's about, do they have the priority in lane?
Well, Wangle just hit that level 6. Good. Now, no Fangtooth available, so they're going to have some time to work with. Real question is, well, never mind. I was going to say, can they do anything before Ray hits level 6? The answer is no, because he's already ticked over to it. Mini Prime, though, is going to be the contention. Rogue starting that one up, and you can see M working around here. He's not in a position to do anything about this by himself. Keep your eyes on the map. You can see a few rotations coming over, maybe looking to try to pinch him.
Yeah, I was very curious to see, and they're going to be looking for some exit frags here, friends, so get ready for the pipes. However, I was looking to see who would get the Prime buff. Would it be the Greystone, really? Because, you could just push into that Zarus and then try to take some tower, create a little bit of extra pressure, but I think it's the Ure right here, clad in purple.
Yeah, looking to bring that Mini Prime around the map. This is something we've seen from a few different teams. Yeah. If you don't want to just bring the pressure to that offlane, or more importantly, if your offlane is already winning over there, sometimes it's more valuable to just bring it across the map and try to get some success everywhere, right? You can see the Fangtooth coming up. You know that Rogue's going to be playing on that side. If you can find a fight, push those minions in and start threatening a tower, that can... gives you a nice opportunity to start looking for that Fangtooth.
Absolutely, friend, and they know there's no blink here on the Fae and no fly trap either. That's why you saw them making that rotation, but Shy, a little bit wary to it, right? And just was like, all right, I'm going to back up, reset, and go. But now Warps here, maybe spending a little bit too long just dancing around, not finding anything for it, but we do see a couple folks grouping up here in the duo.
Both teams kind of know what's coming up here, right?
Yeah.
You see Warps take that reset. He's going to be back in base. Should be able to get back in time for the Fangtooth, but Import does have the better position here. If they know that Warps has left, which I don't think they do, could set up for a nice gank here to try to get some pressure. But if Wangle and Haru leave, that's going to be an easy call to him. Go right to that Fangtooth. It's a few seconds away. Instead, keep your eyes on that mid lane. We're going on a collision course.
Yeah. Again, no fly trap here, so it's like, how do they engage? It has to be a nasty tether. It does connect onto Warps. but is able to kind of shrug that one off here just for now. They're doing that poke game like we've talked about, friend.
Ray, caught in a bad spot, does find a way back out to his team here. Not going to be a follow from Rogue. They know they don't want to overextend. We're not trying to bite off too much. You just need a window. And if that means we've done enough damage to send Ray back to base, that's all we need. Right over to this Fangtooth. Are you going to play the numbers game? Sin's call.
I'm looking to see how they set up around this pit. Who do they put in? Who do they put outside? And it's Wangle who to play bodyguard. He does snatch and grab import here.
Clips comes through, and Wangle super low. Warp's also dangerous there, but two hands get caught in the Tesla Dome, and the Fangtooth shooting damage out at him. Import comes in, cleans up. Fox keeps his ADC alive, and now Sin get to make their way in, but no, M instead says he's on a hunt. I don't need jungle camps. I don't need an off lane. Take my tower. I'll take your support.
I think that was a little bit risky there from the side of Rogue, trying to invoke their namesake and be sneaky to take that Fangtooth, but they just didn't have the resources, the health bars to do it, and that was an easy cleanup. And I know in the other room, they're saying, thanks for the leash there, friends, over their monitors as they clean up that Fang. As you say, in all MOBAs, there's always going to be a trade. If we're going somewhere on the map, you know there's something, another resource elsewhere that we can take. Two plates.
Listen to me.
Sometimes, buddy. When you text me back.
Sometimes.
Here we do have an engagement in the duo, my friend.
Big pickup here. Two hands takes down Haru. The Soulstorm has been expended by Warps. I don't think they have anything left to try to chase this kill with. And that's something we're seeing more and more of, right? Sin is just sneaking out with low health bars, frequently two hands. And Rouge is not finding enough with what they're looking for.
Yeah, it's about where's that catch. Nobody on the team has catch. It's just on the Grux. I mean, the security gate, sure, but sometimes can be difficult to utilize. So if the Grux isn't getting people in, if Wangle isn't locked and dialed, you can't get anything done, and that is a lot to put on one player's shoulders.
Yeah, they heard catch and release, but they forgot about the catch part. It's just let him go right now. M, let's try to take away this blue buff, but he's by himself up there. Lots of backup for Rogue. I would not expect him to fight that one too much. Instead, eyes on Wangle. Abduct connects. Looking for the Mez. Not going to find that one, but instead dashes forward, and Wangle can't do a thing to save his life. Has to just watch the tower breaks under duress. Haru taking a ventilate as well under the other tower. Not going to be enough to kill him, but you see the momentum swinging in favor of Sin, and they are all for it.
And that's what we talked about. It's going to be in that mid-game areas when they're really going to decide to pop off, and that is when they're going to look to close out the game. So reaching the 13-minute mark, not totally, we're like early mid-game, right? Like just get to the start, and if this is the sign of things to come, it's going to be disastrous if you are a Rogue fan. I love that mid-tower engagement, right? They knew they had the health bars and the healing to just dive right in and find the kill that they were looking for. Wangle, once again, that keystone piece out of the comp. Right now, he's diving in. He's looking for revenge.
Looking to try to pull, but the smash and grab just doesn't go far enough. Not a sentence I thought I would ever utter after seeing the immense range on that thing. He's able to sneak his way on out, keep himself alive, and that's important for Sin here because they don't want to give anything up to give Rogue more of this momentum. 6-3 right now. Rogue not out of it just yet, but they're struggling to find those steps to get themselves back into things. Fangtooth will be coming up. Mini Prime is available, and Shin gets pulled right back in. Flytrap comes through. Import and Ray are here, and Wangle will not be for much longer. Slow comes through, and Import sends him out on the export.
Hey, you took that line from Rit, who then also Lance used, but I love it. It's a great way to talk about such a prolific player such as Import, a multi-time champion, especially in the Nations League playing for the UK back when. That was a great tournament to behold, but yeah,
I remember it well, fondly.
Yeah, it was a good one. Yeah, it's going to be a little bit disastrous, but that pick in the mid lane, once again, taking out Wangle, the main engage tool, will lead to the mini prime. I imagine this will go on Import. If they secure it, Butters is in.
Butters looking to contest this one, trying to push Ray back out, but M is here as well. All the reinforcements coming on through. Smash and grab doesn't have any targets. The Eclipse just blacks everything out, and you got no targets to look for. Import still here, and M Does catch Wangle. That's a collapse. All of Rogue trying to come right back in to see if they can find a way into this fight. It's just Fox pushing away all of Sin. The Tesla Dome opens, but there's no one inside of it. You just got to walk away. And look at these health bars. They're way too low. Fox is caught in the stasis, and stasis means death, my friends. 2 hands. Bop, bop, put him down. Haru, now the next one be caught.
Yikes.
The tether is so strong, and he's just cleaned away. Haru down. And Rogue feeling the heat.
Dude, on Fortnite there for the side of Rogue. They missed every single ultimate. You could see all their blue check marks just gone awry. And then they were like, well, shoot, we got to retreat off of this. And they weren't able to do it at that point. The cat was out of the bag, or however it is. The lights are being turned off on us, but I will not be denied this cast.
We will not be rejected. We will not be kicked out unless someone really comes through and tells us to. But until then, we're here for you. And that Fang Tooth is going to be there for Sin. Third one to their name. Get the power. Get the resistances. And if these team fights weren't going well already, man, they are going to start going well right now. Warps, what happened to your health bar? I looked at Philly for 2 seconds, and he's just dead. Wangle now trying to find a way out, but it's just a ring around the rosy. Tether comes through, and he's not going to be able to escape. Shin finds the kill, and now looking to push for it a little bit more. Sin say, no. We don't need more kills. Let's bring this to the mid lane and get some gold.
He's import, just showing why he's one of the best in the world. Every tether has connected, and every tether has resulted in a kill. And this is the thing with Sin. They're very methodical about how they find their eliminations. They eliminate and then go to an objective. So this time, instead of the mini prime, they're going for the mid tier 2.
I love this from Sin. Open up the map a little bit more. Get that global gold in your pockets.
Oh,
We're feeling good. This makes the next objective so much easier to go for. And it just shrinks the territory of Rogue. Now, sure, you still got your tier 2s on the left and right side. Pish, posh, Sin can go wherever they want through this mid lane, come out wherever they want. And Rogue just has to play reactionary right now. They got to get this vision down. But the problem is, look at this. Look at where those wards are. Those are Sin wards deep in Rogue's jungle.
And not only that, friend, when they took that mid-tier 2, they retreated tactfully through the blue side and just wiped it clean. Yeah. So there is nothing for Warps to do to try to even get back into this game, and they desperately need to get to a level 11 so that way they can have that second-tier ultimate online. 2 hands. Once again, I'm hearing a bell. It's a single dingle.
Yeah, but okay, look at this. Wangle coming in, trying to help things out. Warps there as well, but the clips, again, you just don't see what's happening. And 2 hands says, oh, you know, I'm going to retreat towards the teleporter. Ha psych! I'm coming back around. This next wave is mine.
That's good. You want to accelerate your carry as much as possible, and slowly but surely the map is being choked away from the side of Rogue. It's Wangle. He's trying to take out 3v1. This kid is emboldened right now past the midnight mark, but I think that he bit off a little bit more than he could chew.
Yeah, I'm not sure what he was emboldened by there. That's those numbers don't quite feel in favor of anyone except for Sin. Now, with one more down, Rogue in a tough spot on this next defense. Ray just says, huh, who cares if we have minions or not? I'll tank that up for you, buddy. Not going to take it. We're just going to clear the minions out and then walk away, but it does set them up for the next tier 2 siege. See the split map here, but keep your eyes on that left side of the right map. Shin looking for this flank here.
They do have the fly trap. Imagine them letting it fly there, and there it is. Oh, the stasis is good, and the cleanse even better.
Is it good enough, though? The answer is no. 2 hands, got 2 guns for him. Puts 1 in the head and 1 in the body. Now Rogue try to push back a little bit here and finds a shutdown. Import gets dropped. That's massive for Haru, but can he survive? The abduct connects, and just like that, 2 hands finds a second one. Double kill for the man. Ventilate looking for 3. Doesn't quite have the range. Turn your eyes over to this inhibitor. Bring it down, my friends.
The disrespect from 2 hands. He just doesn't even care. He knows his team is ahead, and they are feeling it now, Mr. Krabs. They are looking to end this one outright. Butters, he needed to be in there as the front line, but he can't. He's got to stick over there in the offlane, or M is just going to backdoor him all the way into oblivion. So they're stuck between a rock and a hard place, and I would like to see what Wangle is building here, because is he going to be building a little bit more tanky so he can engage here? I appreciate that. Pass fists. What's he got? Gaia Greaves, he's building a tainted, which will lead to a tainted item. He's building some defense there, so a little bit of a mixed bag there from the support.
Okay, Stoneforge Soul going to keep Butters alive, try to push M away. Warps is coming. Assaulted Gate's not going to find that slow. Looking for a little bit more. The Eclipse gives M some healing. Again, every time the lights are turned out on Rogue, I mean, I don't blame them. They have to back away. They say, never mind what we're doing. We got to get out of here. The rest could be coming. However, M does take a step right into everybody that still hung around from Rogue. Drop the Coliseum, looking for a fight. Now are you entertained? He's still alive in 2 hands. Still got the kills for the crowd. 19-4, triple kill for the man.
Bro, this guy is just a little scurry boy. He just scurried right in there, just shot a couple people, and just scurried away. I didn't even see it. I think it's got to be that red buff, just a little bit of dot damage for you folks, and he finds the kill there. This Rogue team, unfortunately, just being dismantled by the Sin, who's been on a roll throughout this tournament.
Yeah. Now looking to be a little bit more of a roll here. Ventilate comes through. Fox in a bad spot there, but the damage doesn't connect from the grenade. Butters just says, walk at him, push him away. You don't get to do that stuff for free. Hib is the last one standing, and it is not standing for long. Broken, crushed, destroyed, exploded, however you want to say that. Now the core is completely exposed. No lines of defense.
I'm proud of you, buddy. We've been working on our synonyms for different words, and you just went through the whole flashcard that we had set out for you. With that, though, Sin, they know
my hand.
Yeah, after a long day, they haven't sweated off just yet, but now with the advantage firmly in hand, all the waves pushing in their favor, they could go for a neutral objective. May go to reset first. They've got a lot of structural gold in their pockets.
A lot of structural gold, but they're winning fights. I would like to see them reset, go ahead and spend what they got there. You can see them coming out of the base, heading over towards that Orb Prime. Frankly, I don't know if it's necessarily needed, but it is the correct play right now. Sin's so far ahead, there's not a good way for Rogue to contest this, but can you afford to not contest it?
That's really rough, but with Wangle going down,
okay.
I think they don't have a choice. It's like they were caught between two minds. Do we contest? Do we try to defend? The Soulstorm is huge. The Tesla Dome, even better.
Stasis, not going to keep Fox alive for long. He's just going to delay the inevitable. Coliseum gets dropped as well, and just like that, 4 members wiped clean. Only Butters is left, but he's just now made it back to base. Can he 1v5? It's going to be a tough one to call. With the core taking some damage. Stoneforge Soul comes through. He's just trying to buy some time. Assault the gates out. Blink into the fountain. Get the healing, but the core can't heal. The core will break, and Sin take this one in 2.
Man, Butters, I really wanted to say you were on a roll, dude.
0-0-0.
He was not on a roll at all. Well, I guess he was like a donut. That's like it's a form of a roll, right? He's been moving along there. Unfortunately for Rogue here in our after-hours show, does move down to the lower bracket against a really tough Sin squad. They move on. They stay up.
That is a tough look for Rogue right now. It's not how you want to end your night, but the good news is for them, like you said, it's a lower bracket. You still have some time to make that run, try to bring yourselves back up. Sin, they've been locked in, man. They've been doing so well in their scrims, in their games. Everyone I've talked to has been saying Sin is a team to watch out for, and they are showing it tonight.
Yeah, tomorrow's going to be a day you do not want to miss because Sin and Immune are going to clash, and only one of them will survive to keep themselves in the upper bracket, and the other one will have to fight their way through. But I would not be surprised if we see them in the grand finals.
That is right, but to get to the grand finals, we've got a few more games we have to get through. And as much as I would love to stand here and say we're going to do all of that right now with you tonight, we can't do that. We've got another day planned for you. So make sure you are still here when you wake up. Get some rest, get some sleep, because we are going to probably do the same thing, but we're going to come back refreshed. I'm going to bid you all a good night. Be here at 11, or you will miss some games. And you don't want to do that. Billy, sweet dreams, my friends. Good night.